Right, welcome to another Warhammer Worlds tutorial, terrain tutorial, where I show you how to set up my boards for games of Warhammer 40,000. So fighting across this industrial sort of military complex here for this board setup. You can follow along step by step, and there's no reason why you can't get the same kind of board for your own games of Warhammer 40,000. So as per usual, I'll leave as many links as I can in the video description below. Sort of stages to this where you sort of build the board up to what you see before you. So the first step would be the foundation. That's the battle mat. So this one's from Gamemat.eu. It's 6x4 in size. So for regular games of 10th edition, I've marked out the boundary across here with this wall and pipes. You can get this mat, and I'll link it in the video description below. You can get this mat in 60 by 44 inches, the correct size for your regular games of 10th edition. But it's the mouse mat material, so you can design printed on one side and this kind of mouse mat rubber material on the other. It just comes in a roll, so it rolls out nice and flat. Just need a flat surface. You can roll it out and it immediately gives you the colours that you need. So we've got these nice kind of rusty colours going on here. There's patterns for like floor tiles, there's roads, bit of railway, pavement, rubble, and so on on this mat. So I like this one. I like the colour tones going on with this one. Your grey terrain will fit in nicely, and then your stony, rusty kind of colours will fit in nicely with this mat as well. So that gives you foundation. It gives you your colour palette to work with, so the kind of colours you can use for the rest of the terrain. I like this one because it's not just your standard grey for city fight, but there's nice rusty, brown, earthy colours going on with this as well. Then for terrains, you start to build your terrain up to add your features on the board. We've got industrial terrain set here from Gamemat.eu. I've actually painted these up for semi sort of desert colour scheme. There'll be a tutorial for this on the channel showing you how it's done. It's a very quick way of painting up this terrain. So it comes pre-painted, and then I've adjusted the terrain or the paint scheme on this for more of a desert kind of theme, more of a rusty theme as well. And if you look here at the rusty effects, that's the dirty down rust wash. In that tutorial, I'll show you how to use that for your terrain. So you get 4 of these. You get 4 of those structures. There's 2 next to each other. And then you get this large structure across here as well, and you can see the rusty kind of effects going on with that. So it didn't take very long to paint at all. It's very, very quick. So you get one of those. There's the other 2 of those as well. You get some boxes in with that set as well. So that bulks out the table quite nicely. And then I've mixed it with Games Workshop terrain. So it's the NACHMUND battle zone here from Games Workshop. That's these pieces across here. And you get this tower with it, which I've kept separate, so you can move it around. That central bunker across there, and these brilliant walls as well, which are part of that set. You can use those. I've used those walls across there, but also to mark out the boundary on the board. So I don't think there's a tutorial for these. Painting them up on the channel. It's very, very quick though. Just a standard grey spray, and then taking, if I show you a wall section, then taking a brown spray and then just spraying it around the base of the buildings and the walls, just to give you that sort of dirty look coming up from the ground. Then a basic highlight for the grey, just mixing up some grey with some white just to flick it across, and then picking out some of the silver, like the spikes on top here. Not too much though, there's a bit of silver in there you can see. And then finally your sort of rusty kind of wash, which I use Seraphim Sepia wash, and just use that on some areas of this. And that's a very, very quick way of getting some great effects for terrain. And because I've used bits of brown with this, like on the base, it will sit quite nicely on this battle mat. It's not just a stark grey against the brown, but it all blends in quite nicely. So those 2 sets combined fills up the table really well. And then after that comes accessories. So you've got the pipes, which all connect up with this really well from Games Workshop. Terrain accessories like the barrels, the barricades and tank traps, just a real nice way of finishing the board off. And then your stones. So stones that I got from the beach. I've then used brown, black, red sprays to get them to tone in with this board. And then just little clusters of stones, just helping to blend the whole thing in. And they're sort of mixed with little spare bits from 40k. There's a tank hatch just there. There's a Tau pulse rifle, just little bits of battlefield debris, just to really give it a nice 40k flavour. And that just blends the terrain in with the board. So you've got rubble printed on the board here on the mat, and then the actual real stones as well, just to blend the whole thing in. So that's the board for battle mats and the pre-painted terrain from Gamemat.eu. The links for them in the video description below. There's also a 11% discount code, and if it's still running for a limited time, it's 20% off across the store. So all your battle mats and terrain at 20% off of your order. So it's a significant enough discount available from them. The final finishing touch is this across here. Very sad sight here. It's Tower Commander and his bodyguard have been ambushed. So I'm a massive fan of adding these two games of 40k to your balls, just slain models on the table. I have a few dotted around. There's a dead Terminator just there as well. That really adds personality and narrative to your tables. So if you have spare models, you can, it's an enjoyable process. I don't spend as long painting them as I would my regular models, but I try and give like a general paint job just to make them decent enough looking on the table. So some greys, orange and white here, and then all just washed down with Seraphim Sepia and Agrak Surf Shade and so on, just knock them down and then just chipped them up quickly with some silver paint and a sponge, and that's pretty much it. Didn't take too long at all. So you then have a feature, a bit of a storyline that's developing on your board, and it just really adds personality to your game. So you could have a setup like this, some dead infantry, the burnt out vehicle looks great, all sorts of things like that, but it just gives you that real sort of narrative theme for your board, and it just brings the whole thing to life. So massive fan of doing that. This particular board, we've got some slain Tau here just as a feature on the table. That's the episode. As per usual, I'll fade out with some music here just to catch the flavour of this table. I've missed one thing actually, which is your other accessories, which is these walkways. Again, massive fan of these. You can use them in all different ways to span from one building to the next. I've joined two across here to stretch between these two. The same process can be used to create these propaganda posters as well. Again, just really adding to the 40k theme. And then across the other side, you can see the chain link fences. Those are all built using the same materials, the same process. There is a tutorial for that, which I'll link in the video description below, that will show you how to make your own accessories. But I mean, once you've got these made, they're a bit fiddly. But once you have them made, you can use them in all sorts of terrain setups. Lots and lots of uses for them. You can make them into ramps, walkways and so on. And it's just a great way of connecting different parts of terrain on the table. So that's the tutorial. Keep a lookout for more in this series. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.